Democrats claim they are united, but the DNC protests are destroying that peaceful narrative. Welcome to America Uncovered. I'm Chris Chappell. Did you know YouTube has been secretly unsubscribing people from America Uncovered? This channel would be so much bigger if it wasn't shadow banned by YouTube. So do me a favor, and if you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. My goal is to get to 600,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Now, on with the show. So after a turbulent change in presidential nominees, the Democratic National Committee has finally started in Chicago and rallied Democrats to vote for Harris. On the surface, it all seems like every Democrat is on the same page. Even Joe Biden, who was forced to end his campaign by his own party. He's not salty about it, probably because salt is super unhealthy for people his age. It all seemed so great that Politico reported that Democrats arrived in Chicago as a party lacking drama. They are disciplined, orderly, and united around VP Kamala Harris and, more to the point, thwarting former President Donald Trump's restoration. Is it just me, or does that sound less like a party and more like a military battalion? At least when Hillary ran, she got balloons. Ooh, look at all them balloons! So that's it, that's the story. All Democrats agree on everything and everything's hunky-dory. So, what are you waiting for? Oh, right, the drama. Where would we be without it? Well, Democrats must really love it because they're full of it at the DNC. They have more drama than a marathon of the Shawshank Redemption on TNT, and they know drama. People had been anticipating that something like this might happen, especially given the charged political environment we're in these days. And this is nothing new for the DNC. Some are comparing the drama of the 2024 DNC to the one in 1968. In '68, anti-Vietnam War protesters clashed with police and caused a lot of chaos around Chicago during the convention. This is something Democrats wanted to avoid in 2024. For one, Republicans are the least of Democrats' problems. It turns out it's actually some of the extreme leftist Democrats who are a bigger problem. You see, while many left-leaning groups gathered and advocated for Democrat-friendly issues like abortion, LGBTQ rights, migrants, and more, many are threatening to withhold votes from Democrats. The reason? They're angry with the Democratic Party over one issue. It's the way it's been handling Israel and Gaza. They hate how mainstream Democrats continue to support Israel. And much like the protests at universities earlier this year, they're calling for the U.S. to end aid to Israel, amongst other demands regarding the war.
Peggy, Peggy, go back home! Or we'll bring the war home!
You'd think outright threats of violence would be less sinister if they rhyme. It got a little intense as people broke through barriers, but don't focus on that. The only barrier breaking the Democrats want you to see is Kamala Harris breaking through that glass ceiling. Some even managed to get on stage at the DNC. Man, this is the worst open mic I've ever seen. The protest also spread to the Israeli consulate, where protesters showered the consulate with nothing but pure love. Oh, what pure, unadulterated love. These protesters claim that the U.S., and more specifically the Democratic Party, is complicit in genocide against the Palestinians. Which is why people chanted, "Biden, you can't hide, we charge you with genocide," and calling the president Genocide Joe. It probably made Trump think, dang, why didn't I think of that nickname? That's way better than Sleepy. As for the actual Democratic presidential nominee, people have a new name for her, Killer Kamala, which sounds like a Batman villain. Which I guess is fitting since the woker Joker already laughs like a Batman villain. They also labeled Kamala as a terrorist and claimed Hamas, the ones that killed, kidnapped, and raped civilians, are counter-terrorists. Which would be like watching Norman Bates in Psycho and thinking, wow, I can't believe the good guy lost. Even protesters who voted Democrat in the past have grown disillusioned with the Democratic Party.
So I'm 27, and I voted in the previous one. I drove very liberally. I did vote for Joe Biden last year, but at this point, we're 10 months into a genocide, 40,000 confirmed murders. I can't be voting for that again.
The Democratic Party does not speak to the elimination of genocide, the elimination of poverty, the elimination of homelessness.
And some just really don't like Democrats.
Democrats are welcome here! Democrats are welcome. Give up some space! It is right to rebel! DNC, go to hell!
Now, we know that most of these guys lean politically left on social issues, but who exactly are these protesters and how did they get here? Well, most came thanks to a large coalition of more than 200 left-leaning groups called March on the DNC 2024. It includes the likes of BLM Chicago, the same group that shared a poster saying, "I stand with Palestine," with the silhouette of a Hamas paratrooper, the ones who raped and killed civilians, and the Palestinian Feminist Collective, the same group that shared this post on October 7th, celebrating what they call Palestinian triumph, because nothing says feminist like cheering for rape. Apparently there are pro-Hamas protesters as well.
This is Al-Jihad.
Al-Jihad?
Yes. This is Hamas.
This is, which one is Hamas? That's a Hamas flag?
And this is the spokesman of Hamas, Abu Ubaidah.
Why do you want to highlight Hamas at this rally?
They're the one they're fighting. They're the only one they are fighting.
The resistant group in Gaza or Palestine, which is Hamas. So this is the spoken man
All
for
Palestinians are Hamas.
Hamas.
All Palestinians are Hamas?
Yes, we
All
are.
Hamas.
Wow, BLM, radical feminists, Hamas supporters. Who else could the coalition possibly have? Communists! Can't forget the communists! As much as Trump likes to keep calling Kamala a communist, especially after she unveiled her much criticized economic policy, it seems not even communists are happy with Kamala. At least she still has the Batman villain vote. Some of those communists and their associates protesting at the DNC include the Freedom Road Socialist Organization, Socialist Alternative, Cincinnati Socialists, Organizing White Men for Collective Liberation, Denver Communists, the People's Power Assembly, and many more. You can probably guess what they are just from the names alone. Communists are about as subtle as the third act of a Michael Bay film. But there are also ones that aren't so clear. For example, these Korean organizations are both pro-North Korean groups, because why not? Apparently the DNC is a free-for-all. It's really not surprising that there are so many socialists and communists at the DNC protests. Marxist activists have been inserting themselves into pro-Palestinian protests for quite some time now. Their end goal is to feed into the oppressed versus oppressor narratives and transform the U.S. into a socialist utopia, just like all the other communist regimes. Can't wait to live in this paradise.
There is only one solution. Intifada revolution. We must have revolution so we can have a socialist reconstruction of the United States of America.
In their eyes, the Democratic Party isn't doing enough to make that happen. So, yay Democrats? Hence the protests. This is making a lot of mainstream Democrats nervous, especially as they risk losing votes from people who are supposed to be more aligned with them than Republicans. Democrats are trying to play a balancing game between appeasing progressives and more moderate Democrats, but it's just pulling itself apart in the process. It's like trying to host a dinner party with someone on a carnivore diet and someone who's a vegan. You're not going to make everyone happy. Also, you might want new, less annoying friends. But even without all these far-left protests, Democrats may still not be as unified as the mainstream media makes them out to be. We have AOC to thank for telling us this. As a matter of fact, AOC herself preferred having Biden as the official Democratic presidential nominee. Shortly before Biden dropped out, AOC said on an Instagram live stream last month that Democratic elites who wanted Biden to drop out of the 2024 presidential race wanted Harris off the ticket as well.
If you think that there is consensus among the people who want Joe Biden to leave, that they will support Vice President Harris, you would be mistaken. I'm here to tell you that a huge amount of the donor class and a huge amount of these elites and a huge amount of these folks in these rooms that I see that are pushing for President Biden to not be the nominee also are not interested in seeing the vice president being the nominee.
Well, too bad, because you have to respect the will of the people. And just look at all the people who voted for Kamala in the primaries. Fast forward to today, and it seems AOC has changed her tune.
In Kamala Harris, I see a leader who understands. I see a leader with a real commitment to a better future for working families. And And Chicago, we have to help her win.
We'll have to see just how long Democrats can portray themselves as unified to the world before this narrative pops like so many balloons. If you like America Uncovered's nonpartisan take on news and politics, be sure to subscribe, smash that like button like a window in the middle of a DNC protest, and support the show on Patreon. All it takes is $1 an episode, and you can set a monthly limit. Just click that orange button. And here's a video from my other channel, Gamers Unbeaten, about the Chinese-made game Black Myth Wukong and why you shouldn't play it. Once again, I'm Chris Chappell, and for watching America Uncovered.